All right, good morning, everybody. We're here in studio. Kathy, we have some special guests with us this morning.
We do, Tom. We're going to talk about the Indy Honor Flight, but I want to introduce to you our guests this morning. Sandy Volk is joining us. Bill Nicholson's joining us, and they both do work with Indy Honor Flight in different ways. So I'm going to kind of hand this to you, Bill, and tell us a little bit about you and your time that you work with Indy Honor Flight.
Well, Indy Honor Flight is a nonprofit organization. After the World War II memorial was completed in 2004, Honor Flight was just generally nationally formed to take World War II veterans to see the memorial in their honor. And that over the years has evolved into different hubs throughout the U.S. In fact, we have 3 hubs here just in Indiana. I'm part of the Indy Honor Flight. So the Indy Hub, we have 4 flights per year. We take 86 veterans in April, May, September, October. So we have 86 World War II, Korean, and Vietnam veterans that will travel with us. We also take 86 guardians. So every veteran will have a guardian with them at all times throughout the day. And a lot of times it's friends, family members, but when there's not someone there, we count on our guardian volunteers, and those are folks that will go meet with the veteran prior to the flight, get to know them, understand how they move, so that on flight day it's not the first time that they're being with this individual. And it starts to kind of grow a bond, because with all veterans, what you see on the outside may not be what is actually happening. So you never know. Sure. So we are very careful with our veterans and very protective of them. We start our morning at 4 a.m. We typically, our hub is at Plainfield High School, so we ask all 86 veterans, 86 guardians. We take a team of volunteer medical folks who are usually EMTs, firefighters. We also take a group of photographers that volunteer their time, and they're professional photographers that they spend the entire day taking thousands of pictures of everyone while we are there, so that you can enjoy with the veteran the actual memorials versus having a phone out and taking pictures. Of course, we still take pictures, but the photographers, once we return home, over the next 2 to 3 weeks after that, they will upload anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 pictures onto the IndyHonorFlight.org website. And all of our veterans have access to go in and look at those, download them for free. We not only do we take them to see the memorials in Washington, D.C., we see the World War II memorial. We take them to the other end of the mall and visit the Korean, Vietnam Wall, obviously, and the Lincoln Memorial. We then are one of the only organization that Arlington Cemetery will allow buses to drive through Arlington, actually up to the tomb of the unknown soldier. And they do a special changing of the guard for our veterans in Honor Flight, and they get a front row seat, and it's pretty moving, as you can imagine. Ultimately, we visit the rest of the memorials. We end up leaving to come back home same day. So we leave at 4 a.m. in the morning, and we're getting back to Indianapolis about 8:30 p.m. But there's a couple things that we generally, some of our veterans know about, but a lot of our veterans don't. And they're probably the most impactful pieces of the experience. Now, here are folks that have seen a lot in their day. We've taken a 103-year-old World War II veteran, is the oldest that we've taken. But they've seen a lot in their life, and they've had an amazing day. They've seen all the memorials. They're tired. We get on the plane to come home, and about the time we get to cruising altitude, the lights dim down. They flip right back on, and they yell "mail call." Obviously, unlike today, where you can pick up a phone, you can send an email, you can send a text. That didn't exist then, and so the experience of receiving a packet of mail on the way home, and what they don't know is that we've spent the prior month or two asking family, friends, anyone to write thank you letters to them because a lot of them never got thanked, period, in any way, shape, or form, and in fact quite the opposite experience, which kind of leads to our last surprise, which is homecoming. So every evening when we get back from each honor flight, it's been a long day. We start at 4 a.m. It's probably 8:30 by the time we're getting back to the high school. The veteran is tired. We are tired. Everyone's tired. But we've got one last surprise for them. And they think we're just going into the high school to kind of sign them out and they're going to go home with their families. Well, we have packed Plainfield High School gym with friends, family, strangers. It doesn't matter. We'll take anyone. But we fill to the rafters nearly the gymnasium. And everyone from the junior Marines to Boy Scout troops to the hall is lined with flags. We have people cheering, and one by one they will announce each of the veterans, and they get the the proper welcome home that most of them didn't receive the first time. So one by one they'll announce their name, their branch, and we've printed up these 3-foot posters that has a picture of them in the era that they served, so that you see the individual now, and as they're walking through the gym with everyone cheering, you're also seeing that individual just right above their head of what they were 50, 60 years ago, which is pretty powerful. We also have some kissing girls that volunteer their time. So we have a number of gals that will literally put on about 4 pounds of red lipstick, as bright as it can be, between every single one of those 86 veterans, and we stop with that veteran and they get a kiss on each side of their cheek. And so for the rest of the time that we're there, they've got these big red lips on their cheeks, which they absolutely love. How couldn't you? But just a wonderful experience. It's a healing experience for these veterans. Again, most were never thanked. Most never really had any positive experience coming home. So this does a lot of healing for these men and women, and it provides a kind of a roadmap to fulfilling the rest of their lives, because most have carried baggage on their shoulders for 55 plus years. I've had wives tell me that it was the first full night's sleep that the veteran had received. Another wife that I spoke to said, man, he's a different person. He woke up that next day, and he was, after 50 some years, he's no longer grouchy, he's no longer, all of a sudden he is this brand new person that I've never known, and I've been married to him for 50 some years.
I know, Bill, we were talking, my dad had the privilege of being on an honor flight, and he served the Korean War, and he served in combat. He did not like to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I found that when he went on the honor flight was that was the group that he could relate all of that to. And they could talk, and it was like their story, their group. And so, the rest of us, it was just kind of a stand back and let them, but it made a huge difference. And when you tell us that, I can see that, because, and Dad would say, you just wouldn't understand if you weren't there.
Yeah.
So it's like you said, kind of a healing therapy type of situation.
And we often hear, and this is where we could use everyone's help. We often hear from veterans. I come across, I see the hat, and I stop and I say, "Hey, have you been on the honor flight?" "Oh, no, I don't deserve that." "Oh, no, I'm not a hero." "Oh, no, I was in Cleveland, Ohio, changing tires on it." It doesn't matter. It takes everyone. It's a very small fraction of people that are actually boots on the ground, but it takes everyone. So it does not matter where you served, how you served, if you served. That's what matters. And very similar to your story, I got to take my dad on the honor flight about 3 years ago. I served in the Marine Corps. He served in the Marine Corps in Vietnam, received Purple Heart. It was never really closed off to having conversations, but again, that one day I heard more stories, and I asked him, I said, "Well, why haven't I ever heard that story?" Or why? He's like, "Well, when would it have ever been brought up? When do you have the time to?" But here you are amongst 85 other veterans just like you that saw what you did, that felt what you did, that experienced what you did when they came home. But yes, that is part of the healing process. Is again, they're around their people,
Right.
And their people, doesn't matter what branch you served in. If you served, there is a bond there that that never goes away.
Well, I want to talk to Sandy because we're talking about branches of service, and so you have a son that's currently serving,
Yes.
but he's also now he's served in another branch or two, hasn't he?
Yes. He served in the Navy for 4 years. Then he came out because his dad, my husband, was dealing with some health issues, so he didn't re-enlist. And then after his passing, he went to the Marines, and then he was there for 5 years, and then now he's currently serving in the Army.
Isn't that amazing?
Ooh,
Yeah.
like it.
And I'm going to stop for just a minute because Tom is our veteran here in the station. Tom, I can't ever get it all correct, so give us your rank.
Mine? I am a retired Army Command Sergeant Major. Served for 22 years, and I'm 10 years or so past the Vietnam era when I enlisted originally. And it's always for me a very touching thing when I see veterans from the era that you're talking about, and if I see them at VA and it does say thank you for your service, and I'm like, hold on a second. If it wasn't for you, I would have never had the opportunity to serve. So, I mean, it's incredible what you do. I know how emotional the Vietnam Wall is, the Arlington National Cemetery. I mean, it's just a feel to it that's unexplainable when you're in there. And then to go to the changing of the guard at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, it's such an emotional moment, and there's so much honor shown when these things happen. But I don't talk a lot about my time in the service, because the folks that you're talking about, the World War II, the Korean veterans, the Vietnam veterans, they went through so much more than anybody of my generation in the military did. And I think what you do is an absolutely incredible thing. And I know how much it means to those veterans, because they went through a lot of things that I did not go through. And I remember how important it was when I heard mail call. And you got that letter from home, and it's like it really meant something. When you heard that, you were, your ears were perked up because you were waiting to hear your name. They said, here's your mail. And
I can't imagine back, like during World War II and Korea especially, like the length of time it would take to just get a letter from home.
yeah,
And how, I mean, like Tom said, how excited you would be when they called your name. And so Sandy works on kind of the filling the mail call piece, don't you?
Yes, I work on. Bill lets me know, hey, we're needing some letters. I reach out to the community, and they do a enormous job getting me letters.
Extraordinary
Yeah.
job.
They are just great.
So do you look at like the school kids, but I mean anybody that is interested in?
Yes, I put it out on Facebook and just reach out. This year I had to do a little bit different due to some changes in my, with the everything. But this year I just reached out on Facebook and contacted a few people, and still the amount of cards I have probably over 100 cards sitting on my table right now, and some bracelets.
Oh yeah, now, did Chloe
Kramer made some
did
bracelets
Mm-hmm.
for me. I have 40 of them to give out to the veterans. Beautiful
Oh,
bracelets.
that's nice.
And I know I have more cards coming, but I mean, people are just great.
So when they do their cards, do you just tell them they can put whatever kind of a little note message they'd like in it?
Yes, I get all kinds. Sometimes I just get a colored picture. Every card, there's not one card that really is exactly the same. And they're just all touching. I sit down and read them. And, because when I'm packing them up to hand them over, and you just want to cry.
Oh,
They're just so touching.
Now, have you had like school kids classrooms do them, or because I know you've been doing it for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been quite a few years
Yeah.
that I do that. It's just something very important for me to do. I had some from churches, individuals, schools.
I don't think there is a person, an organization, a social group, a church that Sandy hasn't reached out to.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was one flight where over 3,000 in one flight. And I said, Sandy, we love that. It's too much. You need time for yourself. But they were from high school kids to elementary kids. They were colored pictures, which the veterans absolutely love, especially like if there's a tank drawn or like a jet or something,
Sure.
Yeah. All age, I mean, up to veterans that had previously flown. A lot of times they then want to give back, and they will write a letter to every
nice.
veteran on the next each flight, just to say thank you.
And it's probably a nice experience for them to be on a plane other than a C-130.
Yes. Depends on who's flying. Normally it depends on whether it's the Navy or the Air Force guys flying.
So, Sandy, if somebody's listening and thinks maybe our group or just individually they would like to contribute in some way with that, just reach out to you? Or
Oh, yes. Please give me a call on my cell at 812-593-0327. And I'd be glad to, give you the information. I have a list of 24 individual names that will be on Bill's flight. But I won't put that out on, public. I'll just, have to give them to him separately.
We need general Dear Veteran letters just
Yes.
as much.
Okay.
Because to put these mail call packets together, some veterans, they get 50, 100 letters from friends, family. Others may not have any family, and they may have 2 letters or no letters. And so you make sure that every single veteran has the same amount of the same size package, the same amount of letters. And so the Dear Veteran, whatever it may say, or whatever may be colored on it, are just as important.
Okay.
What I did for one of the veterans, I found out he lived close to where I do, and I decided, I talked to his wife, and I said, can I surprise him? He was going to go on the flight, and his son was his guardian. So they left on Friday to go up to the meet and greet, so while they left, then me and his wife and one of the neighbors went and put flags all through their yard, put welcome home,
Oh, how nice.
U.S. veteran and stuff. And then I had collected over 100 cards that were directly for him. So we decorate the house with some patriotic flowers, and it had a nice little basket.
Uh-huh.
And then I had a blanket made with his service photo on it and his name and the years and what he served. And then when we came home from the flight, we all surprised him with that.
How nice.
I'm sitting here getting teary-eyed, getting emotional about
Yeah.
this.
It's the construction dust, is what we always say.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, and I feel so fortunate that I got to be there and see, my dad be able to do it. But it's just amazing to see them come together. The work that all of you put into it to make it such a great experience. And one thing that I love, because, a lot of them are either with a walker or a wheelchair, and that's not an issue.
Oh, no, absolutely
you
not.
guys just pack it
In fact,
up and go.
We take enough wheelchairs for every veteran on the flight, because whether you need it or not, it's a long day.
Uh-huh.
And but yes, we take all the appropriate things. We can even accommodate situations with oxygen. So again, they're medically, physically able to go, whether they're 100% in a wheelchair, whatever the case may be, we will get them there.
And plus, you have the personnel on board in case you would have any
Yes.
issues along the way.
Yes.
So, all right. So, tell me a little bit if two things here. If I want to be a volunteer, how I go about that. If I have someone I want to help them get to go on the honor flight, how do we go about an application? Just give us kind of the start to finish for the process of
Sure.
getting on the next one, let's say.
Well, the first thing, most important thing, is to go to indyhonorflight.org. And .org is what gets everyone, not .com, but .org. We are a nonprofit. No one gets paid in the organization. Our website, if you click up on the tab that says applications, there is volunteer applications, there are guardian applications, because again, we sometimes have veterans that don't have family or friends in the general area that are available to be a guardian. So then we will have an honor flight guardian be their guardian. So we definitely need those volunteers. We have what we call our Skittles. We're bright green shirts, but there are over 100 of them that are in the parking lot, that are bringing folks in, that are running wheelchairs. A lot of volunteers. But go to the website. You can fill out whatever applicable application. For the veteran application, you may have to fill it out, and if you've got someone that is a veteran that maybe doesn't want to fill it out or won't fill it out on their own, you are welcome to nominate them, fill out the application, send it in. We're running about a 2-year waiting list right now, and that's with running 4 flights per year in April, May, September, October. With 86 veterans on each of those flights, we still have about a 2-year waiting list, unfortunately.
So, Bill, there's no cost associated for the veteran.
Correct.
Okay. So, is this funded mostly? I mean, donors.
100%. Yeah.
That's amazing.
100%
Yes.
funded money. And every dollar that Indy Honor Flight receives goes back into getting the veterans there. We don't get paid. We don't ask for money. We don't need money. We're doing this because we want to do it. So rest assured that 100% of every dollar that is ever given to Honor Flight goes into flying them back, which unfortunately over the last few years has almost doubled in price.
Sure.
Because the American Airlines still makes us pay for the plane and the pilot and the fuel, and which is understandable. But what used to be manageable has certainly doubled, and I'd say the last 5 years for us
Oh, my
to get
goodness.
everybody
So
there.
that's-
Yeah.
So it's important for sure. We don't like to talk about money, but yeah,
But we
you
still
need
need
it
to
yeah.
do what we want
Absolutely.
need to do. So.
And it's
Absolutely.
such a neat program.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And so 4 times a year,
Yep.
and there's 86 veterans that will be on that flight, plus all of the attendees to help with the whole
Yeah.
thing. You feed them,
Yep.
I'm sure.
Oh, well, they are fed more and hydrated more that day than they ever want to be. Because that typically, if we're going to have a health issue, it's usually nothing major. It's just they're not drinking enough water. It's a long day. I mean, even for the young folks that are helping out, it's very easily to get dehydrated. So we make all of the guardians go through a 2.5 hour in-person training session. You can't just say, "Hey, I'm going to go with Dad." You've got to come be trained to ensure that we get that veteran back delivered to their family exactly how they delivered them to us.
It's just an amazing opportunity. So right now, is it the Korean War and the Vietnam War veterans mostly that are taking the flights?
So when I started with Honor Flight volunteering about a decade ago, it was majority World War II. We had some Korean and then maybe 1 or 2 Vietnam. And now fast forward 10 years later, we're lucky to have a World War II vet, which we will have one on this flight in October, on October 25th. We've got a handful of Korean, but majority Vietnam now.
Okay.
So I would say probably at least 80 of the 86 veterans are typically Vietnam now. If we get a World War II or a Korean veteran that applies, they automatically go on the next flight. So there's no waiting list for them.
All right.
For those Vietnam vets, I know, especially when you talk about at the end and all the people there to cheer them, because those veterans did not get that reception when they came home from the war, and they deserve it. And I can only imagine what it means to them to get that they should have gotten back in the 60s and 70s, that they can at least get that now. I can only imagine the feeling that they have with that.
Probably
I
almost
had-
like a closure.
Oh, it is.
I attended one of the homecomings here early this spring, and there's not a dry eye.
Oh. Yeah.
It's just remarkable, And I was able to shake my hand with a veteran that had no legs, and I think the Indy Honor flight you had surprised.
Yeah, the individual that saved his life. They hadn't spoken. They hadn't seen each other in 55 years, and we were able to connect them
That's
while we were in Washington
Yeah.
D.C., which is pretty awesome.
As a child growing up, my father was a veteran, and we were taught you always have respect,
sure.
for your veterans and those that are serving, and which we always did. And then I know the day my late husband and I took my son to the recruiter to have him sent off, it really made my eyes wake up. And there's many months you didn't know where your child is.
Yeah.
You have
it's
no
that
contact with them.
between having the child and having an adult, and all of a sudden it's like a blink. And
Yeah.
I just applaud your son now in his, to serve
Yeah.
so many branches
Yeah.
and continue. He just continues to move forward and expand.
And it's a unique story to hear somebody that's served in 3 different branches. You hear sometimes about serving in 2 maybe,
Yeah.
but 3 is, you get the whole ball of wax when you serve in 3 different branches.
Yeah. I'm very proud of him. It's hard as a mother.
Oh, I'm sure.
You're proud, but in the Navy, he served in the submarine and also was a diver. So it's not like you could
Couldn't
pick
just
up a
call
phone.
him.
You couldn't just call him.
Do you have to be a little relieved that he's moved on to dry land?
Well, I don't know. Because
Yeah.
now he parachutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're proud of him, but it's hard, like we always sat down, at the table at the holidays. You had all your children with you. And, there's times when my daughter and my granddaughter passed away in a tragic accident. You had to call him, and he couldn't just come home. You have to get approval
Yeah.
to get home,
Yeah,
you
for
know.
emergency leave,
there's
yeah.
things,
Yes.
Yeah.
for that. And you think back, like, this is what's happened now, but what happened back in
Sure.
World War II,
It's like with the mail call, it taking
mail call.
forever to
Yes.
be able to, and I mean, like that, Tom. I mean, you might be able, like, if they're out, like when like Sandy was talking, like in the submarine, and all. How do they get the information to you?
Generally, they have a port of call that they'll go into, and that's where they get, all the mail for everybody, all of that kind of stuff. So, when you're in a sub, you're underwater for a long time, and to get up, although it's interesting, on submarines and on ships in the Navy, it's almost like its own city in itself, because they have everything that you could imagine. Facilities for them to work out, facilities for them if they want to go buy something to drink, that they can go get that, or a snack or something like that. But when they're on a sub, it takes time for them to get into a port where they can get all the mail, all those kind of things. So
And like an
Yeah.
emergency, I mean,
yeah,
It's
yeah.
still
If
a
it's an
time.
emergency, yeah, it's very, very difficult to get back if you're in a situation like that.
yeah.
Mm.
And I can imagine on the other end it had to just be.
it's hard, and, and you're enjoying, like, even like family stuff. And Christmas time, when my son started the service, we knew he wasn't going to be home for Christmas that year. And we decided no gifts. And we all, my kids and I, we just wanted time with the family, because we had a hard time being back at our house. We were all together, but how could we be opening up presents and he's there
Yeah, not
serving?
there.
And that's what we decided. We need time together, and you need that time.
Yeah, people don't realize that it's not just a matter of everybody can say, hey, I want to go home for Christmas. There are people that still have to be there to hold things down and keep operations going while people get to go home for the holidays. You still have the ones that have to be there performing their duties.
Yes.
So will he? Do you think he'll stay where he's at for a while, or?
Right now, I think he's still stationed. He'll be stationed there till 2027, and he'll be on call to be deployed. So his time back home won't be for a long time.
For a while. Yeah.
For me, it feels like forever.
I'm
but,
sure. Yeah, and what he's gotten is valuable. I mean, what he's learned, his time served for us, I mean, is just priceless. But yeah, it's hard on Mom.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, the In the Honor Flight, and again, it is a program across the country that goes on.
Yes.
But here locally, whatever we can do to help support, whether it be write the cards, be a volunteer, make a donation.
Or just show up for homecoming.
Yes.
We've got one the October 25th, so
Okay. And
next
it's at
Saturday.
Plainfield High
Plainfield
School.
High School.
Okay. So what's a good time to get there?
Between 7:30 and 8.
Okay. And then they'll come rolling in around
And then
8:30ish.
We typically come rolling in about 8:30,
Mm-hmm.
depending on loading time. Sometimes depending on how many wheelchairs and things that we have. But yeah, generally that time frame. And they have musicians that are there that donate their time to keep the crowd busy. So they had a lot of really fun stuff.
Oh, they have the praying dog.
Oh yes, Dixie the praying dog comes, and
Yeah.
so a lot of things in a lot of different ways that the community and other organizations assist the honor flight that no one ever sees because it's kind of behind the scenes in one way, shape, or form. So anything helps. Again, whether it's just writing a letter, showing up for homecoming, making a donation, or just asking someone when you see them with that Army or Vietnam or Marine Corps hat or Navy hat or whatever it may be, hey, have you been on an honor flight? And when they tell you that, oh, no, I don't need to go, or no, please encourage them to, because it is, again, a very soul healing experience for each of those veterans. They come back a different person than they went, and we owe it to them. So.
Absolutely. Sandy, for folks that want to do their part, maybe send in the notes and all, like you said, give you a call. And I know, like we were talking, Chloe did some neat little bracelets and things. Are there some, I mean, is it okay to give you some fun stuff to share
yes,
with them?
they like craft. Craft. We had a teacher from Batesville Elementary, and they made like little tags,
How
like
cute.
little
Yes.
necklaces with like little
those are
dog
cute.
tag type thing. Oh, they were adorable. I had some that made bookmarkers.
Oh, that's a handy
Yeah.
one, yeah. So just get your creative juices flowing, and there are 86 that go on a flight. So that kind of, if you want to try to make something for everyone, that's
Yeah, I think they appreciate everyone, and they'll appreciate any card, letter.
absolutely. Okay, IndyHonorFlight.org.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that should give you everything
Everything you need.
that you need.
Yep.
So I really encourage our veterans to get those applications, get them filled out and filed, and look ahead to the next honor flights that are available. And
We appreciate you, Bill and Tom, and all the veterans out there.
yes, we do. Absolutely. And you for doing your hard work
Yes.
on the side to
Yes.
Yes.
make mail call fun.
Yeah. Well, it takes the community, and we have a great community and surrounding communities to, thank as well.
It's a wonderful project, and that's what I want to encourage some of our clubs and our kids that do. We've got awesome kids in the community that do a lot of service projects and things like that, and I think this would be great for them to get involved in.
Yeah.
So, all right, Sandy, Bill, thank you both so
Thank you.
much for
Thank
coming
you.
in. And Tom, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks.
And I think we should ask Tom if he wants to fill out his application for the honor flight down the road.
I'm unfortunately not old enough. I don't fall into that World War II, Korea, Vietnam era. So I'm
We'll put you on
for
file.
once in my life, I'm fortunately too young. So
We'll put it on your bucket list.
there we go.
Okay.
There we
Down
go.
the road.
Eventually, we will get there.
Because you have spent many years serving. So, and you too, Bill. You
20
too should. You'd have a blast.
22 of the greatest years of my life.
That's cool. So cool. All right. Thank you guys.
Well, thank you
all
for
being
having
us.
here
Thank you.
with us.
Appreciate it.